Hello and welcome to Ant Lab Games. I'm your host Anthony.
And I'm Francis.
Today we're giving you a much overdue update video.
We always say they're overdue, but
They're always overdue. If we don't do one every day, then it's overdue.
they're overdue.
It's way overdue.
Okay.
So we've got a pretty sizable agenda, I think.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about a lot of things. You want to go down real quick?
Yes, very quickly. We are going to be doing we just got back from PAX, so we're going to do a PAX overview. We're going to talk about Patreon and some things that are happening there and some changes. We have our Board Game Nexus update, and then we have some just general updates about the channel. Excellent.
Sounds good. But before we dive into this agenda, let's talk about the sponsor for this video.
Yes. We don't always take sponsorships.
Right. But when we do.
When we do. No, seriously, we get a lot of sponsorship requests, and we usually turn them down because we,
for the most part,
want to make sure that like the stuff that we're like showing you guys is stuff that we actually like. So so our sponsor for this video is INTOTHEAM. As you can see, we are wearing the gear right now. So they're pretty neat because they give you these like wacky prints of shirts. I guess they kind of have something for everybody because they've got this like wild stuff like me. Like I have this little dune buggy guy like riding around. But they also make some pretty cool basic stuff. Anthony's not as into like
more about the basics.
The printed stuff.
Solids.
Yeah. I got a solid t-shirt too though.
So this is a sweatshirt. It's very soft.
Yeah, it's and just to give you an idea about like sizing and things like that. So I'm wearing a small. So if you're, I think they're kind of like gender neutral wear. But if you're, looking for like, well, what size do I get? That kind of thing. I would say I got a small. I usually wear like a small, extra small. And this fits me perfectly. Like I wouldn't have wanted to get anything smaller or bigger. So, and I think you're wearing like a medium, right? In your hoodie.
I think so. If you want to go ahead and check.
We'll just check really quick.
It might be a large. Might be a medium. I like my sweatshirts a little big.
I don't know. We'll have to get back to you on that. We'll put it in the comments. But if you have questions about this, let us know. We'll put. We actually have a code to give you, so you get 10% off if you use the code ANTLAB. On your purchase, make really good gifts. They came really fast, and they're super, super soft.
Super soft. So the boxer briefs very soft. Wasn't going to display them in today's video. Didn't want to chase away any.
I tried to get him to do it, but he wasn't in the Calvin Klein mode.
Wasn't ready to pose for that. Maybe this summer. But in any case, we definitely recommend the product, which is why we're willing to put this on the channel. Obviously, we don't really promote anything unless we've seen it, touched it, felt it, tasted it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tried it out, and if it like meets our standards, then we put it out there because then we don't feel bad if you all go and you make the same purchase for this.
Yes.
But in any case, there you go. INTOTHEAM. Go check it out. All the links and information will be down below. Everything you need to know. And again, if you want a discount on your purchase,
because who doesn't?
Yep. AntLab is the code.
Yes.
So go from there.
All right, cool. All right, so with that, let's get into update stuff. I want to talk about PAX because we just got back, the other day. I mean, when I say we just got back, PAX is like 20 minutes from our house. So we kind of get back every day when we go to PAX, but
we do.
Yes, but it is another year.
Another year of PAX gone by. So this was a full vax, full mask event. So there was that. I think we're the only ones in the city wearing masks for the entire day.
It was weird. I mean, I'm gonna say it was good. It was safe or whatever. But we were in the convention center and like there was like another con that was there at the same time for like
McGraw-Hill.
It was like sponsored by McGraw-Hill. I think it was like the American Social Studies Foundation or something.
The American
and they were like
Social Studies Foundation.
Very confused about what was going on.
Why are they all wearing masks?
Yes.
You figure if a group like the McGraw-Hill Teachers Association is not wearing masks, and we are, then that's a statement, right? But in any case, we could go on and on that front. But that was probably the toughest part of the con.
It's hard. Well, I would say it's hard. Like you're trying to like learn rules and stuff. However, I have to say there was somebody there, and I can't remember what they were demoing. I feel like it might have been the Asmati booth. I don't know. If you're out there and you had the little speaker box, genius. Yeah. Because they had this little speaker box set up on the table and the microphone was like very near or maybe inside the mask. I don't know how that worked.
It was right outside.
But it was like you could hear everything she was saying. So it was like almost like projecting from the table. And I was like, this is fantastic.
Awesome tool. Yeah, it was very smart because you can't you can't have a conversation with these. You know this. We've been living in this world for a couple of years now, and when you have that mask on, you cannot talk to people.
So you're almost like getting closer to people than you want to.
Yes, because you can't hear them. You can't read lips. You miss all the social cues. Like it's very awkward for an event where you're intimate with people.
Right.
It's very awkward to have that barrier. It's just, I don't know.
Although I will say, we didn't have to deal with like stinky breath or anything, which is good.
This still doesn't cover up the other odoriferous clouds you walk through at a convention. And those of you who've been to them, you understand what we're saying. The mask doesn't help with any of that.
Oh my goodness!
Especially because you tend to be breathing out of your mouth because you can't breathe a lot. So we'll leave it at that. You can envision that part of it. So
aside from all of that, it was so nice again to just be able to get out and like see people we haven't seen in years. Last year was a little bit weird for us with PAX because we did go one day, but then we had the baby. We brought the baby back, and the baby couldn't get into.
Because again, it's a vaxxed event. You're not bringing a vaxxed baby in there. It's not happening. So.
But this year was cool because we had my dad watched the kids on Saturday, so we were able to go back. Kids were in daycare on Friday, so we got like the whole day.
We got a lot of a good amount of time to sit there and take our time. See all of our publisher friends. And industry friends, as many as we could find. I know we missed some of you. It's just there's not enough hours in the day, unfortunately. Right. We didn't go back Sunday, so we missed a day. But in any case, we thought it was really good. We got to really kind of get back in the swing of the conventions. You kind of get to know, you get to meet the folks you communicate with seldomly or only through online or through social media.
We have so many people that we actually do, like friends, like people that have become friends over the last 2.5 years that we've never met in person.
Right.
So to be able to actually meet these people.
But the thing is, you can't recognize half of them because they're covered in a mask and I can't see your face. So it's just, especially if they've got a hat on too. If you got a hat on and your mask on, just forget it. I might as well. I can't even know.
Unless your mask is clear.
Unless you have a clear mask, then you've got that. We've seen a few of those, and those are wow. Okay.
So anyway, but we picked up some really cool stuff. So I guess we can kind of talk a little bit about what we picked up, which was neat. If you want to go there.
Yeah, we could. I mean, we don't want to go through the whole. Like we did a whole walkthrough of of everything we picked up at PAX for our patrons, and so they got to see every single game. But
why don't you tell me like what you're most excited about, or tell people what you're most excited about?
Well, I think there's a number. I could kind of like we have them all. I'm looking back here because I have a stack of games back here, and I mean I could just lift it up, right? So everybody's watching. I'm not going to go through them all, but here's some, right? So you've got the Elder Vale Mistwood, you've got Astra, Fire and Stone, Millefiore, The Wolves, Terra Nova. Light in
the Mist. That's
Mist. You've got small game Winter and small game Regine.
Yep. A couple of things from Devere.
Yeah, really cool, exciting stuff.
The Everdell Mistwood we picked up at the recommendation from our friend Allie from
Family
Meatball. And it's kind of like an AI that you can put into. I mean, you guys probably already know this. New to us, but we love Everdell. But to be able to actually have an AI that we can play with 2 people is pretty cool.
So we have Intrepid, Ultree,
which we already cracked open.
East India Companies, and Beer and Bread. So we've got.
Oh, we have another one upstairs too.
Yeah, they're all over the place basically. So
we picked up so much stuff.
Look, there's just games everywhere.
Yeah.
But those are like kind of just a real quick peek at what we've got from PAX. We are going to obviously be doing videos on all these. Yeah. So you will see them in the weeks and months to come.
Yes.
Very exciting. I also we have Boone Lake down here too, which I didn't pick up. It's in a different pile. Been looking to get our hands on that one and get that reviewed. So so we're very excited. Very excited. So we have a lot of stuff going. Outside of that, we demoed a game that's coming to Kickstarter later next year that we'll talk about when the time comes on that one. But for the most part, we just did a lot of walking around and talking to people.
Yeah, which is
networking. It's networking. Like it was. We don't usually work that hard.
Well, yeah.
During the conventions, but we put in the time, and we really because we're just trying to reconnect with everybody.
Well, yeah, and I think that what we've found is that at least for us as like content creators going to the cons, it's more worth like some people will they'll pack their schedule with meetings, and you kind of go and you do the meeting and you see the demos of the stuff, and it's like, it's okay, but we find it kind of more beneficial to just kind of walk and browse, and things that like spark our interest we'll go look at, because if you pack your schedule with meetings, then you end up missing maybe a lot of stuff that you didn't get an email about, or like whatever, you missed the con. So we just go and we enjoy it. And we just kind of network a little more casually. We don't, unfortunately, do a lot of like the evening events. So
we hardly ever do that stuff.
The outside stuff, just again because we've got family stuff to do, and frankly, we come home and we usually start playing some of these games.
Yeah, I mean, we're there for the games. Like we would. I mean, if we didn't have like the little kids to come home to at night, we'd probably look for some of those events to do. Because that would be fun, obviously. But we just don't have that opportunity to do that.
But I think next year, we may try to do something.
I hope so.
On our own. We would love to host something. The kids will be a little older.
Yeah.
And,
maybe
hopefully
we get more of our
people out. I will say there did seem to be fewer people at PAX this year than there were last year.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say it's because probably because of the vax and mask mandates.
Probably.
You're turning off a lot of folks who just don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah,
I'll be
probably.
honest. It's the truth.
Well, especially
even if you lose 10 to 20%.
I would say too, PAX last year was the first big con that was open.
True.
Just like there were no other cons until PAX last year, so everybody was kind of like, "This is the one I'm going to."
Yeah.
But now I think you have like all the Dice Tower cons that are open and like open.
Yeah, open.
And
you can go to a football game with 50,000 people.
Yeah.
And not have to do any of this.
Right.
Yeah. But you go to a convention like this, and you've suddenly all the mandates are in place. So we'll deal with it. I'm willing to put. I'm okay with that. But there are a lot of people who aren't, who are just like turned off by that, and like, no, I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah. So we'll see where it goes next year. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But anyway, still one of our favorite cons. We love it.
We love it.
So.
And it's definitely it's our hands down favorite convention. It's the only one we really go to anymore.
Yeah.
And it's right in our neck of the woods, which makes it even better. So I love to see it growing, and I think with luck, it'll become the largest con in the U.S. for board gaming. I think that's where I want it to be, and I think that's where, if they keep it up and they loosen up a little bit, I think they could be there.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's our PAX update. So what's next?
So let's talk about Patreon.
Patreon.
This is the thing we've been doing.
So this is an interesting topic.
Yeah, we've been doing the Patreon thing since, I don't know, July?
Actually,
June?
since the end of July into August, right?
Yeah.
So, and before we go into it, just to say a huge thank you to all of our patrons.
Yeah.
We have an incredible group of people who support us on Patreon. They've been longtime fans, and they're more than fans to us. A lot of them, they're more like friends.
Yeah.
Right? Because we talk to them on a regular basis. They have access to us at all times, and they're really open about what they like and what they want to see, and they make a point of attending all of our live stuff if they can.
Yeah.
And it's really wonderful support to have that, and I think it's something I wish we did sooner.
Yeah.
Just because it really helps connect with our audience and our friends, and it helps really let us know that people actually really do care about what we're doing.
Yeah, and care about us, I guess, too. So it's neat.
I want to see the success of this channel.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge statement for us. And I think it's, we've kind of needed that reinforcement over the years, unfortunately. And I think it helps keep us motivated.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Because you lose hope sometimes.
Well, it gets very lonely. I mean, even though you have other people kind of creating content and doing things like that, it gets a little like, it can start to feel like work sometimes. And like, we have always been on the side of like, we never want it to really feel like work, right. Like not like we have to do this. We always want it to feel like we get to do this.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time that's how we feel. But in that 1% of the time where it's like, we're starting to get a little burned out, or we're losing our direction a little bit, it is cool like to be able to look at the people that kind of benefit from the channel and like care about you as people.
Yeah.
And to know that there are people kind of on the other end of this screen watching, that aren't just numbers on a subscriber count or like numbers on a view count or something like that.
And the thing is, you get into a place where you always, like, it's just like at work, right? You never hear when you're doing a great job all the time. You only hear about when there's mistakes or when people are mad at you. So it's like you always hear those few voices that are like, that want to talk trash. There's always trolls out there, right? So so those stand out because they're the ones who post the most,
right.
over the people who are posting like, like really, really great job, blah, blah, blah. We love it and all that stuff. So it's like you kind of, and if you stop fixating on that stuff and you start really fixating on the people who love what you do and support you, I think it puts you in a better mindset. So
and who are also doing what you love.
Yes.
On their own, with their own families, and it like just puts stuff in perspective.
It puts it all into perspective. So we've really grown just personally.
Yeah.
Over the last few years and learned to truly just lean into all the positive things that our fans are doing for us and just ignore all of the other stuff. Because we've learned that all the other stuff is really, it means nothing.
It's inconsequential.
It really is so inconsequential. We always wanted to make everyone happy, but we know you're never going to be in that space. You can't make everyone happy, right? So you're always going to have haters. You're always going to have people who, the fans, and I think our fans way outnumber our haters.
Yes.
Like 1,000 to 1.
Yeah, and that's definitely why we wanted to say just a huge thank you to everybody who is supporting us.
Absolutely.
And that being said, yes, so we've learned a lot, I think, about kind of what's been working. We sort of just like threw some tiers out there. Not like these tears.
Yes.
So we threw some tiers, T-E-I-R-S.
It'd be T-I-E-R-S.
Yes. Out there when we did our first kind of Patreon launch. And it worked out pretty well. We put in some things that like we thought were like cool things that we could do, like some live streaming and things like that. And I think over the last 6 months, we've been able to say like, okay, this worked. This didn't work. Here's what we're great at providing. Here's what people don't seem to really care about.
Right. So with that said, we have we've got 3 tiers, right?
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is we're going to sort of reallocate what we're going to be doing for each tier. Not in such a grand way.
Well, it's funny because we sat down and we had a little business meeting about this, and we're like, well, let's see what we can provide. What we're not really doing. And actually, we didn't tweak that much.
No.
But I think it's worth kind of just
clarifying some things.
Yeah.
So let's talk about.
Okay.
So we're going to go through this because we want people to just understand like what our tiers mean and what it's all about. So the first tier.
So we have $3.
$3 tier. We know a lot of Patreon people do $1 tier, right? And that's where they get a chunk of their support is in the $1 tier because it's easy, it's $1, right?
Right.
But Patreon takes a cut of that, and at the end of the day, it's like,
is
it really like how?
And then like when you pay it out, like there's a cut for the transaction.
Yeah, there's just it's like how much is that is getting torn apart? It's like it's almost like it's not even really like. We don't want to do a tier that just really pays Patreon.
Right, exactly.
Like, it's like
your money's not going anywhere.
It doesn't really go anywhere but them. So it's like, I don't want to fall into that trap. And maybe we're wrong, I don't know. But it just didn't seem like it was something. You guys let us know. If you think we should use $1 tier, then I don't know. We'll think about it.
I don't really want
to. Prefer not, because it's like, is it really worth it? But in any case, so we made it the $3 one. It's the lowest one. And basically, and because everybody's always like, just give me a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah.
And $3 is about what?
The
low end of what it would cost to get a cup of coffee these days, just with inflation. So it's just the way it is. But with the $3 one, what do we have?
So you get kind of, it's sort of like our back it because you believe in it tier, I guess. So you'll get Discord access, which we have a really like.
We have a private, an active. Cool. Not only, anybody can join our Nexus Discord, but there's a locked channel in there for our patrons.
Yep.
Where we will post Patreon specific
updates and things like that. Which is the other thing. So you get like those like exclusive updates, but it'll be like videos that are upcoming.
Like if you have a link for a video that it's only for patrons, then that's where that goes. It's another way to communicate directly with us.
Yep.
So that gets you access to that, and it supports the channel. That's the lowest tier.
Yep. And then we have a $6 tier, which is going to be the Discord, obviously, and your updates. And this is where like you can vote. Like, so we have like voting, and we've been having folks like vote on our next playthrough, vote on our next live stream, which are like have been like private.
We'll go into that.
And then you'll get to see all of the recordings of the live streams that we do.
That you couldn't make.
Yeah. So what we have been doing in the last 6 months has been really neat. Like we've really enjoyed doing these like live streams for you guys, and we'll talk about that in a second. And just kind of sitting down and playing something or sitting down and learning something. And it's stuff that like we can't put on the channel because, I don't say can't, but like we could, but it's a lot of uncut, unedited, like
referencing rules and wait a minute.
It's messy. We do a lot of like people ask like for question and answers and stuff like that, but honestly we do a lot of that in the live format. So it's like we'll be playing a game, learning something, and it'll be like, hey, what other games do you guys recommend? Or what have you guys been playing recently? Or like, you know, what are you drinking
what
today?
Did you what was that movie you just did? I thought the rules say this, and it's like we do a lot of that. So it's and it's us learning the game in a lot of instances, like because we play games to learn them, right? Obviously, before we go and we do the videos, we have to learn the game. We have to get a feel for the game. We have to understand the game. We're going to review a game. We need to know it, right? So we got to play it a few times. It's those plays, those raw plays where we're learning the games that we're now turning a camera on and letting you sit and watch us and interact with us while we're playing this game for maybe the first time.
Exactly. Yeah, and then the reason, like, again, we can't really do that stuff live with the whole of YouTube because we're then having to deal with, like, weird, like, troll people, like, jump on. Or, like, you're answering way too many questions. So the nice part about it is that it is intimate. Large number, like, the majority of the time is spent actually playing the game, but we're sort of limiting like the number of people that are coming on live because it's like, I guess you could say like paywalled or whatever.
It's paywalled, but it's we're focusing on learning this game.
Right.
It's not really a Q&A session, so we could go 20 minutes and not even look at the comments. Then I'll take a break. I'll look at the comments and then we'll answer them.
I'll go put the baby back to bed or something.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things that we do that logistically would make it a kind of a boring watch on YouTube. It's just unedited, uncut. It's just raw.
Right.
So instead, we open that up for our patrons. They get to watch this stuff. If they can make it, they join us live. If they can't, the link goes up. It's out there. It's on YouTube. It's hidden. But you'll have a direct link to it. You can go watch it on your own time.
Exactly. So with that $6 tier, you get the recordings. So you don't get to participate live, but you get the recordings. At the $10 tier, that's like we call like our VIP tier. And I will say like probably, I don't know, do the math, 90+% whatever of our patrons are in
the VIP
this tier.
Yeah.
Which is where you'll get like, you get to do the live stuff with us. You get a cool free T-shirt. So after
you get a T-shirt right off the bat. So your first
month
is essentially
not off the bat.
Well, after your first month.
You get it after your second month because the cost of the T-shirt, obviously, we can't have people just signing up and then getting a T-shirt and bailing. So, but this is also where you'll get like your giveaways, which we'll talk about in a second because we have one coming up. Like I said, practice plays. And then like, I think we started talking about doing like co-op campaigns too, because we have a lot of these co-ops that we want to get through, these like adventure games we've been really into lately. And we would love to like open one up and actually play along. I think we did one. Did we do one recently?
No.
Live? We didn't? We did Dwellings of Everdale, didn't we?
Yeah, but that's not a campaign game. So, but somebody asked about doing if we could do a campaign-driven game. So, like, say for example, we wanted to do our ISS Vanguard. Once a month, we would take that out. We would play the next chapter of it, but we would do it live for our patrons.
Yeah,
and that would be just more of that sort of Patreon content that we want to put out there. Stuff that we do and we play for funsies.
Yeah,
not necessarily for the channel.
Yeah,
but we let you all join in if you're part of the Patreon.
So that kind of thing. It could be like we could even do like 3-player playthrough of a game, like invite Harrison down or something to do that.
Yeah.
Things like that. So we're calling them sort of like pop-up playthroughs.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll be scheduled. Sometimes they will not be scheduled. And it'll just be like, hey, we're going live, jump on and do something.
Just
we're
so
just going to flip the camera on and play.
Get a peek behind the scenes of what we go through, and it'll just be like, you know what? Oh, tonight we're going to throw Lacrimosa.
Yeah, we're getting ready to learn Lacrimosa.
We're going to learn Lacrimosa. It's on the table right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, we're going to learn this tonight. We'll post something in Patreon to our patrons and say, hey guys, tonight we're going to go live stream. Here's the link. If you can join, great. If not, the recording will be up afterwards.
Yeah.
And then we'll just play. We'll just flip the cameras on, play Lacrimosa between us, and then if you join, you join. If not, oh well, you'll catch it later.
Yeah.
And then that way you could, at your leisure, go and say, oh, you know what? I want to go check that out. This is like weeks before this thing even goes live on the channel.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you're getting content that you wouldn't normally get. Like nobody's getting.
Yeah,
actually.
exactly.
So we're trying to make it a little bit more of a bonus, right? A value proposition to be part of our Patreon, so that you're getting what you want without taking away from those who aren't.
Right, exactly. Right? It's why we want to be really careful not to like paywall anything that we have always given anyway.
Yep. So for those watching who are now going, well, so for only if we're Patreons we get patrons we get to see this. No, you as a regular subscriber to the channel or just standard viewer, you get everything you've been getting.
Right.
You get the content we put out. We do like 1 or 2 videos a week. We do playthroughs. We do our panel shows now. So actually, we're putting out more content now than I think we ever have.
Yeah, we have.
As far as variety goes, right? So
we'll talk about our content in a minute.
Yeah, we're doing our playthroughs, we're doing our Kickstarter previews, and we're doing our panels, which we really love the panels. I mean, but I think that wraps up Patreon or no?
No. So I did want to talk about giveaways. So that top tier also has a giveaway. So we have been doing more of these, and they're so much fun. We actually we're just getting ready. We drew the name. We haven't announced it yet. To give away a copy of Bitoku.
Bitoku, so new in shrink copy of Bitoku to one of our VIP patrons.
Yep, and then I think we have another 2 more months lined up for those right now, and then it's it'll be games you know and love.
Yep. So we're going to be giving away brand new games. We're going to be giving away some prototyps of games that the publishers don't want back.
And those are a little bit tricky. I know that some people are like, oh, I really want, like, can I have the prototype of this or that or whatever? And I will say we get fewer prototypes now that are like giveawayable, if that makes sense. Only because it's like we end up sending a lot of them on to other reviewers. Or the publisher may not be comfortable with anyone else having a copy of the
or it costs them $300 to produce it, and they want it back. So we understand. So we ask before, and if they say send it back, we send it back.
But if it's a copy that they're like, absolutely, go ahead,
then we'll give it away.
We'll give it away. So all kinds of things like that. A lot of it sort of TBD.
Right.
But
we were considering making sort of an elite tier that goes above and beyond the $10 because they're out there. So if you look at all the different Patreons out there, there's always like this $500 tier, this $150 tier. They're where you get 1 or 2 people in those. Because you're basically looking, digging for that rich fan who just wants to be like, you know what, I'm gonna pay for your ride. Either that or we're gonna be the only one in there to make it look like we're the ones in there. Yeah. So I become our top tier elite, and there's only 1 more left, so somebody else better get on that.
Yeah. No, I mean we kind of thought about it, but we don't want to just like make more tiers for the sake of making more tiers. So if there's stuff that you think you would like to see, then let us know, and we'll always entertain this. This is it's new territory for us, so we're just here to kind of explore it all with you.
But what we've been doing seems to be working. The patrons seem to be happy with the amount of content we've been giving them, the live streams, and we've got a setup now that live streams for us are super easy to do. We just flip the camera on now and go. So we're going to be doing a lot more of it. So we encourage you, if you were on the fence about supporting us on Patreon, jump in, spend a month with us, see what you think, right? And if you want to stick around, It's great. We could always use you. We love... we just love the interaction. We love the support, and we welcome
and the feedback
and the feedback. We're always changing, so we're trying to always improve, and you know that about us.
Yeah, and then just a quick like note, I guess, about like where does that money go? Is we have been doing like our shops, so we will buy games. We don't get every single game like for free.
We don't. We do not get every game for free.
We get a lot of games in exchange for producing content, but we don't get everything, and we don't get everything like right away. So we do a lot of shopping on our own. We spent a bunch of money at PAX, but that kind of helps too, because if you guys are patrons and you're like, oh, we'd really like to see like this game, let's say even a game from a couple of years ago, maybe we don't own it, and it's one that you want to see played, we can go out, buy it, and we're not digging into our like daycare fund. Which is what we have been doing for the last
brutal. This has given us that freedom to go pick up titles that fans want, patrons want. It allows us to upgrade our equipment and buy new stuff
to make things easier.
To make the production quality better. We're probably going to have to get more equipment soon. A couple of our lights already went out, so we've got to buy lights. So this money goes towards the studio. It goes towards the production. So everything has a cost, right? We've been doing this on our own dime for years. And it's been a pretty big sink. So I think this has been, so Patreon has really helped us be able to finance this whole operation. So cool. That's it for Patreon.
All right, enough on that. Let's talk about Board Game Nexus.
The Nexus. Yay. So the Board Game Nexus is at a stage now. People are asking what's next for it, or where are we at now? So we were in beta for a while. We can honestly say that we are now not in a beta state. So we didn't do a big who announcement or a big advertisement yet. We'll probably look to do that in next year. But as it stands, the bug programming and the completion of all that stuff, it's done.
Yeah.
We're not changing anything right now. The code that's in is in. The foundation is built. The database is there. We're adding games as they come in. We still need to work on that workflow a little bit more, but for all intents and purposes, the site is live, right?
Yes.
It's live. What we want to do as sort of a next phase is really start to build out the content.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the big key here. And what we're looking for, and this is a call out to anybody out there who currently writes articles or writes reviews or has any of that written review type stuff that they want to get more exposure to, they want to get it out there. Maybe you're posting it elsewhere, but you want to kind of get further exposure.
More exposure or something.
Let us know. We'd be happy to work with you. Just you can get us the materials and we'll post it. Like we'll give you front page access to it.
Yep.
And we'll highlight it and throw it out there on a regular basis. We want to do that. The challenge for us is to write the content because it's really not our MO.
It's I mean, again, we have full-time jobs, we have the channel stuff we're trying to do. We've got a lot on our plate, like personally and outside of board gaming too. And then just managing the site as well. So it's a lot.
It's a lot of work. I could spend hours just adding games to the database. Like I did it just the other day. So what would also be helpful is if you see games that aren't in the database and you want them added, especially with the marketplace functionality now. So that's on a separate note. The marketplace functionality is up and running.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's fully out of beta, but it is 100% functional.
It's with people are buying and selling games and it's working and nothing's broken. So.
That's the trick. So we're going to be putting out an instructional video on all the how-tos on to do it, but it really is intuitive on its own. The only big caveat here is that if you want to add a game to your shop, so you have to be a premium member to be a shop owner. And I think that's really where we're focusing the premium members at, right? It's being a shop owner in the marketplace and being able to add like written content to the rest of the website. So if you have your own store, you have to, and you're adding a game, that game needs to be, it doesn't need to be, but it really should be already in our game database.
Yeah, right.
If it's not, you need to ask us to add it. The reason being is you could add your own copy of a game in your store. You can create the profile, you can put in the pictures and all that good stuff. It will not be connected to the main entry that goes in the database if I add it later on.
Right.
The problem with that is you'll still be able to sell your copy, no problem. But when somebody looks up the main game in our library, you won't be sitting down at the bottom as a, hey, I'm for sale on this main game. And that's where you want to be because that's where the advertising is. So just something to keep in mind if you're going to do this. Outside of that, you really just have to...
Yep, and I'll mention too, there was a little bit of confusion when we launched the market that I was getting a lot of comments about like, oh, I don't own a store, but can I still sell my games? Yes. So the way that it's set up, we are using the terminology like marketplace and store and shop owner because the way that it's set up is we kind of want you to feel like I have a collection and I have some things for sale. Almost like you're in, you're like out in the public forum, like with your little shop thing. You're selling your stuff. So you are, as an individual person, technically a shop owner as far as the website's concerned, but it's more of just a superficial kind of title, not like you don't need to be like an actual store, but you can make it really fun and like give your shop a name and
some people
all
have,
that kind of thing. And a lot of people have, and that's been really cool. So
yeah, it's your own way to, we're going to create a store and sell some of our stuff as well. I just haven't gotten around to it, but that's next on our list.
Well, that'll be all part of the tutorial. I'll be building all that with you guys.
That's why she's going to do that. So that's the Nexus. So going into next year, functionality wise, we'll see where the future takes us and where we can do things financially. But otherwise, it's running. It's running great. I think we just want to up the content, so we're open to anybody who's looking to just get some content out on the internet in the board gaming space. We'd be happy to share your stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
So just let us know. Contact at theboardgamenexus.com.
Yes.
The Board Game Nexus is all written out.
Yes. Okay. Let's talk about AntLab Games.
All right. So this is the last topic.
Yes.
So this is just sure. So just
just a little update about our content and stuff.
So we touched on this a little bit.
Yep.
A little bit earlier. So content-wise, as you've seen, we're staying true to our original branding with AntLab Games. We've taken back our name. We're not going to be doing this crazy swapping of names anymore and branding and all that nonsense. The Board Game Nexus is in itself a website. That is the Nexus. AntLab Games is our YouTube channel. That is our YouTube channel. If you notice on the YouTube channel, it is now AntLab Games.
Yeah.
100%. The only thing that's not is the banner that says the Nexus, because I haven't put a picture in there.
Yeah.
To replace that, I'm trying to find a good picture for it. That'll make sense. But otherwise, that's the only thing that still stands. How it plays is gone.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know. A lot of you have stuck with us through our identity crises.
We had an identity crisis for sure.
Well, you know what it is? It's because, like Anthony was alluding to before, you kind of get kicked down, you get kind of squashed, and then you sort of feel like you need to like become something new or fresh or like re-identify yourself, because clearly who you were isn't good enough or is a piece of crap or something. Right. At least that's kind of how.
So never fall victim to that.
Don't fall victim to that. It was probably our biggest mistake, I think.
It was hands down our biggest mistake, was to actually listen to the trolls.
Yeah, and to kind of try and like, rebrand when staying true to ourselves probably would have been the best.
The amazing part is most of these trolls have trolled themselves pretty much out of the industry.
Yeah, exactly.
So they what power and influence we gave them was all basically false. And it was all our doing, and that's the problem. We let the bullies win, right? And you let the bullies win by running away and trying to pretend you're something you're not, right? So F that, for all intents and purposes. We are back full steam and just ready to face whatever, and we're just here to do content for our fans, for those that appreciate what we do and why we do it. And we love every minute of doing it, and we're going to continue to do that. And we've made some wonderful friends over the last year.
Yeah, it is fun. Like, if you want a piece of life advice, I guess it really is just it's ironic because this is what we would tell people in our mentorship program, like, stay true to who you are and stay true to yourself and your values, and
no matter what.
And don't try to, unless you're being like, unless your values are to be deliberately nasty to people, which I don't agree with. But, if you have your quirks, you've got, stuff, whatever, just lean into those things. And it's such a more relaxing way to live.
Yes. I think. If you know you're good.
And you will attract the kinds of people that are good for you, if that makes sense.
Good people attract good people.
Right.
Bad people attract bad people.
Yeah,
that's just the way the world works. Yeah. So we've always felt our intentions were good. We're always out to help others. We never out to hurt others. We made that very clear in our whole journey, because we've never lashed out at anyone. Not anyone individually. So that's always been sort of our thing. And we've been able to get some really good close relationships, and we bring a lot of our good friends now into our space.
Yes, and so that's a very good segue. So we'll talk about a little bit of the content you can continue to see going forward. So obviously our playthroughs and stuff, we've got a huge pipeline of things to get through. But we've been doing these panels, which have been so much fun. And I think based on the views and stuff that we've been getting and the commentary and the engagement, you guys are really enjoying them too. So we've been doing these topical panels with a few of our friends, and then we'll have some other friends kind of jump on from other channels and things like that to provide some expertise where we are lacking. And
we have a lot of friends out there, so if we haven't asked you yet to come join us, it's not because we don't want you.
It's because we've done 3 of these.
We've done a handful of them. We're really just getting our feet under us. We've got sort of our core group, and these folks are people we talk to every day.
Yeah.
They're not just, all right, we're going to see you in 2 weeks and we'll jump on the panel. We chat every day. So these are our friends. They're truly our friends. It goes beyond social media. It goes beyond the content creator space. These are true real life friends, and that means more to us than any other superficial relationship you could possibly have.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Right. So which I don't think social media alone is going to give you that.
No,
right?
Absolutely.
So you've got to go beyond that. You've got to reach beyond the wall of social media. We reach beyond, if you're friends with somebody and it's only on Twitter. I question how strong that friendship really is.
Yeah, right? If your friendship consists of just likes and
retweets
and stuff,
then to me that's just very shallow.
It's just sad.
You want to. So you got to get to know people in the real world, right?
Yeah.
Reach beyond that, get to know people, and we found that there are some lovely folks out there, and who we've really enjoyed spending time with. So that's why you're seeing these panels. They're getting, I think they're getting better and better because we're getting more and more comfortable with each other, and more comfortable with the content and just the whole setting, and it's really. And they've really started to come along, and we look forward to them. So
yeah, they're so much fun. It's just such a relaxing, again, like just leaning into this content that for us is like very relaxing to make. Yep. But I think valuable to you guys too has been really awesome. For sure.
So I think you've got that. You've got our our standard playthroughs. We're going to continue to do. We do our Kickstarter previews, right? Which for the most part is paid content, most of the time. And those are, they help us fund the channel again. Yeah. And it also is because it's a lot of work.
It is, yeah.
And that doesn't always, we could spend 6 hours putting together a preview for a Kickstarter that doesn't fund.
Oh,
or
yeah.
That gets canceled.
I think we've done at least like 3 of those.
Plenty of those. So like, where does that time, you don't get that time back.
Right.
You're not getting a game out of it for sure, which, to me is like, oh, well, you got a game out of it. Yeah, like what is the game? $40? And I just spent 6 hours on this. I make a lot more than $40 in 6 hours in the real world, right? So it's not worth the time. So I think that you're going to continue to see that type of content and anything else we can come up with. We don't do a lot of lists. Now lists that is like the just the way to get views, right? So if we ever wanted to get
I just love lists. I like making them.
She does. I hate putting them together.
He doesn't like doing them.
I just don't like. I don't like the work involved in it. It's just.
Well, it's because we take it to the max, right? Like we don't just come on here and say, "Here's 5 games you should get for Christmas," right? Like we actually go through.
I need B-roll. I need assets.
We have to relearn the game so we can explain it to you in a way that makes sense, I guess. Right?
Yeah, and it's a lot of, I don't know. It's just to me, it's like I'd rather just sit down and play the game because I'm more into that than I am in these lists and lists. And lists are so subjective, and it's like
it is, yeah. But
like, what's my opinion? Tomorrow. Yeah, but we're gonna do some. There's no doubt.
But I think we'll do them in a different way.
We did one top 10 list of by mechanic. And the thing hit ridiculous amount of views. It was like one of our most watched videos of the last year.
I know, it was such a good video.
And but it's like, okay, that was just a list. Like, I mean, it was great. Like there wasn't a lot into it.
I don't know what you're getting at.
Well, I'm just saying, it was just like, I just don't feel like that was really a lot of work for us to get that kind of a turnout. And it's like, well, if it
wasn't. That's the thing.
Yeah, and honestly, in that one, we really didn't put any B-roll up either.
We didn't.
It was just here, I'm going to hold up a game box, and that's if I'm going to do lists, that's how I'm going to do it. But I always feel like it's under.
You feel like it's cheap.
I feel like it's cheap. I feel like it's not really earning that. You know what I mean?
I don't know. You like to put a lot of work into it, and you get very frustrated when it's like.
Well, because then I could put a lot of work into something, and then it has no views, and it's like, why do we even bother with this? But then we could just drop hey, here's our top 10s, and blah blah blah, and we'll get 50,000 views.
I know, but that's what people want to see. So leave us a note in comments if you want to see more lists, because I'll do them for you.
We could rank our Lacerda games. We could rank games by theme. We could do anything you want to see.
I have a whole list of lists.
A list of lists that we can possibly do. So
they get cut down in the business meeting.
Maybe you know what? If we can do it in such a way that I don't have to put in B-roll and any of that stuff, and we just literally have a stack of games, we pull them out one at a time.
I think that's all we do.
Just call it a day.
Yeah.
I'll do more.
Okay. If you guys are okay with that, just give us a thumb.
Let us know.
But
otherwise, that's it. What we're basically saying is we're at Lab Games. That's the end of it.
Yes. And we're going to do the content we feel like doing in the moment.
That's just how it's going to go. So, all right. Is that it?
I think that's it. That pretty much sums it up.
All right. Well, that's our update. So I think we've covered everything we wanted to cover. We thank you all. At this point in the video, if you look down and you see that you are not subscribed to us, if you just push that little button.
Yeah, just make sure, because we might be coming up in your feed because you've been watching lots of our videos.
Right.
But you may be missing things.
And you don't think you're subscribed, and you really are like, oh, wow, I thought I was subscribed to you. Because we've had those comments before where somebody thought they were subscribed and all of a sudden they weren't anymore. And things happen, right? YouTube purges subs all the time.
They do,
because they're bots.
Yeah.
They may think you are, and then all of a sudden you're not subscribed anymore, and then you come back, and it's just kind of weird the way it works. So always keep an eye out on that to make sure you're subbed. If you're buying into our proposition on the Patreon space, we welcome you.
Yes.
Understand that when you're part of our Patreon, you're on our Discord, you're on our Patreon Messenger. We are basically available all the time. Like you guys, like we are in constant communication with these folks on Discord. Some I know on a personal level that we text, and like, so it goes beyond just being a fan of the show, right? You're really part of our friendship and our inner circle. So if you want to be part of that, I think we'd love to have you. But otherwise, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
All the details you'll need from our sponsor for this video, as well as our Patreon, our Discord server, and our Facebook groups. All that stuff will be down in the comments below, or in the information below. And that's about it. So thanks for watching. We hope to see you next time.
We'll see you.